Yo, what's up, guys? What's up, everybody, people and friends? We are back once again. Today we are discussing One Piece chapter 1156, Idols. That's right, y'all, Idols, man. So this chapter, we don't get a cover story for this chapter, but we do get some, some cover art. You know, what's interesting about the cover art, we got Rayleigh and Scopper on each side of Luffy, and we got Zoro actually like mirroring them like up in different sections of the panels, whereas Sanji is above Scopper, Zoro below Rayleigh. But we got the rest of the crew actually sitting on different parts of Luffy as he's running in his Nika pose, you know? And for something that really stands out to me is Frankie pointing, you know? I don't know, like he's pointing that way. But it's just maybe I might be reading too much into it, but it just stands out to me so much. I'm just trying to figure out what everything means, because you know Oda loves to hide hidden messages within his cover art or whatever. Now, obviously, this cover art is indicating that Zoro and Sanji are both literally the Scopper and Rayleigh of Luffy's group and Luffy's crew. And Luffy, they got Roger in his likeness and whatnot above him. But yeah, it's actually a very nice cover art, man. Very nice graphic detail. But we get on into the chapter of the Kuja pirates, man. So, as we see from on the Kuja ship, you know, they're renowned as idols and public beauty figures amongst the world. And their captain, Gloriosa, man. Gloriosa is a smoke show, absolute bombshell, you know, and she even has that effect on people as she does her own crew. Now I got my notebook here because I had to take notes on this chapter. I had to, man. This is just an amazing chapter, by the way. So Gloriosa, we get Gloriosa lamenting on the ship over her own beauty and how she's weary of it. You know what I'm saying? Will she ever shed this perfect imperfection or self-depicted imperfection that is the humble vanity of her surface level attraction? You know, for an island of women, I think they're all pretty, you know what I'm saying, pretty bomb, you know. But it's just amazing the way they're introducing Gloriosa. She's the captain of the Kuja pirates and the now Empress of Amazon Lily in this flashback. So, moving on, we see that Gloriosa actually gets fan mail from across the seas from people, you know what I'm saying, who knows, all over the world, renowned, because they're just infatuated with the beauty of the Kuja pirates, especially the captain, because Gloriosa is the captain, the standout. Now, Gloriosa, she checks her fan mail and whatnot, and what's interesting, the woman bringing her fan mail is actually I wrote it down here. Tritoma, or Tritoma, Tritoma. I'm just saying Tritoma. Now, what's crazy about Tritoma bringing her fan mail, man, it goes on to say in another panel box that Tritoma actually becomes an empress eventually. She actually is a future empress of Amazon Lily. This took me back to the part in the chapter where, I guess, where Silver's Rayleigh pulled up to Blackbeard and saved Boa. There was some type of mention of the former lineage and line of the empresses, and we got one that was actually after Shaki and before Boa. So we never knew who that was, because there was Gloriosa, then there was Shaki, and then there was somebody else, and then there was Boa Hancock. So whoever it was before Boa Hancock, it may have just been Tritoma. And something is telling me that this woman might potentially be Luffy's mom. Because I think that I know I'm not the only one probably thinking this throughout the community, but I'm really starting to think that this woman could be Luffy's mother. Because I got a feeling that, you know, the similar way that Dragon probably went to Amazon Lily and maybe won the heart of the Empress to where she wanted to venture out to sea and explore and whatnot, that probably, it's like a mirror image of what happened with Luffy and Boa, but with this time concerning Dragon and possibly Tritoma. Possibly, we don't know, but I'm just going out on a limb and say this might actually be Luffy's mom. And I'm all here for it, man. I'm all here for it. But also another thing that I wanted to let in, Gloriosa. I have a possible theory that Gloriosa might be Kobe's mom. What I love about Luffy and Kobe is literally they are flip coins of one another, whereas Luffy wants to be king of the pirates, Kobe wants to be like the head of Marines, like he wants to be an admiral, but I think he'll settle for just being a vice admiral as long as he can change things in the Marines via his actions and his merit, as well as his ambitions as far as making the world a better place. Luffy and Kobe, they're flip sides of the same coin. I just think it would be ironic if both of their mothers happen to be women of Amazon Lily. Now, as far as their fathers go, Luffy's father is a revolutionary, but we still don't know nothing about Kobe's father as far as we think we know. But I actually theorized that Whitebeard might be Kobe's father. I know it sounds crazy, but man, I'm gonna make later videos along with that. But I got a theory that Gloriosa is Kobe's mom, and this Tritoma woman might be Luffy's mom. But I'm especially banking on Gloriosa being Kobe's mother. I believe that that's actually where Kobe's hair color comes from, Gloriosa herself. I believe that Gloriosa and Whitebeard, as they got older, not older when they were old, but like as they were like maybe in their middle age or early middle age or somewhere approaching to it, they may have had Kobe. Because Gloriosa, we learned in this chapter, Gloriosa was actually infatuated with Roger. But then we also know that Gloriosa would later go on to join the Rocks crew. And I believe that Gloriosa joining the Rocks crew is the reason why Shaki would go on to become the new empress in the future. So Gloriosa renouncing her title as captain of the Kuja Pirates and joining the Rocks crew, however that went down, I believe that she joined the Rocks crew and then she may have later fell in love with Whitebeard alongside the Rocks crew. Because if you look back in an earlier Rocks flashback, as they show that they were heading into the Holy Land, not Holy Land, but as they were heading into God Valley, I think it was the Holy Land. Yeah, as they were heading into God Valley, and you see the Roger pirates jumping off shit, the Rock pirates jumping off the ships, you see Gloriosa actually snapping on Stussy. Stussy is sitting on Whitebeard's shoulder, and Stussy makes a remark, and then I guess Gloriosa, she remarks back at her like, "Oh, you're so pathetic, Stussy." Da 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 da. That was actually pretty much a mate guarding defense mechanism that I believe personally. I believe Gloriosa was actually taking shots at Stussy because Whitebeard is her man, or at least Whitebeard doesn't know that he's her man yet. So as we later go on, we see that Gloriosa is looking through her fan mail and she's wondering who sent the bigger pile, who's got the bigger pile of fan mail, because there's another pile. And who is this fan mail for? Well, we learned that it is for the vice captain, first mate, our very own, our beloved Rayleigh's future wife, Shaki, man. Shaki is the only member to actually outshine Gloriosa in terms of beauty and presence, you know? So it's no wonder that she's the right-hand man, not just because of her beauty, but I guess Shaki is pretty strong too, as we later on see in this chapter. Now, oncoming, as we see that, like I said, Tritoma, she also goes on. It's crazy. We got 3 empresses of Amazon Lily all right here on the same ship. We got Gloriosa. We got Shaki, who becomes the next in line. Then we got Tritoma, who's said to be a future pirate empress of Amazon Lily. I'm calling that, bro. That has to be Luffy's mom. I'm just gonna say it has to be. It could be not, which I wouldn't mind, but this has to be Luffy's mom. Now moving on, we got an incoming ship that's actually approaching the Kuja Pirates, and it turns out to be none other than the Roger Pirates. Our goats, the goats, Roger and company, they're oncoming. And what's crazy is Roger announces his presence because we see that Roger is actually after Shaki. Roger has a crush on Shaki, man. This, like, ain't this insane? Given that he had a baby with Rouge, this man had a crush on Shaki. And another prediction / theory that I got, bro, for Roger and why he fell in love with Rouge, that may have been like that. I think that definitely was after he disbanded the crew, where he met, then he went off and later settled down with Rouge and whatnot. But I still believe that Roger has a child actually before Ace. I'm not saying he has this child with Shockey or any of the members, because Shockey goes on to become Rayleigh's wife. But and then people would assume that Roger had something with Gloriosa, but he didn't. You know what I'm saying? Roger wasn't feeling her like that. Everybody knows Gloriosa is beautiful, but Roger wasn't feeling her like that. But we see that Roger is after Shockey, saying that we're gonna win her from you this time. Da 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 da. The entire crew of the Kuja pirates, their beauty is just so overwhelming. Like, even Shockey's alone, their beauty is just so overwhelming to the Roger pirates that they can't really defeat them like that. They can't really focus on fighting them the way they want to. So, as we get Roger and their crew sailing towards the Kujas and whatnot, and as they encounter them, you see Gloriosa actually scolding Roger for not believing that her infatuation with Roger is actually enough to satisfy his lust or his heart or whatever, man. Because we see that Roger wants Shockey, man. Roger wants Shockey. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Now, before Shockey's even actually introduced, she kicks open her cabin door, steps out, leaving everybody in awe, because they said that her presence was so captivating. Every movement she made was just captivating and flawlessly enchanting, along with her physical beauty. So Shockey then reveals herself, and then you see Scopper actually falling for her, man. This exchange is so funny because Shockey says to Scopper, like, oh my goodness, Scopper, I love it when you say my name. It just sounds so, pah! She kicks this man Scopper in his face, lays him out. And then you got Roger actually picking up his sword, taking up arms against Shockey, ready to go lay her out, only to get laid out himself. It's crazy, man, because like obviously, I don't think that there was an intention to physically harm the ladies, but y'all are still pirates at the end of the day. But due to the beauty of the Kuja pirates, the Roger pirates were just immobilized, man. Just, hey, it happens. That even happens in real life. Come on now. You've been immobilized by a woman's beauty who was just so beautiful, you just damn near forgot your name. That don't happen to me. It does. It does. Not all the time. Not all the time. I'm learning to control it. You know what I'm saying? You players do play. Players mess up, man. But, man. So, Shockey loves the way Scopper says her name. She kicks him in his face. Roger tries to retaliate, only to get back and get laid out himself. And then, man, Shockey's beauty. It said that Shockey's beauty was actually able to humble even the mightiest of warriors, whether you're a Marine, pirate, or not. Not that that was specified, but even the mightiest of warriors were humbled by Shockey's beauty. All but one. Because Rayleigh seems the only normal one out of the Roger pirates, not really falling for the stuff. Not really falling for the googly eyes and the beauty and whatnot. Now, we see that Shockey, she actually grabs Roger by the chin to let him know that she'll never subject herself to be anybody's, she'll never submit to another's captivity. You know, saying that that's basically saying she's gonna be a free woman no matter what. She'll never do that. And Roger, he's just sitting there enamored by her because Roger wants a Shockey. Now, we get a panel where Shockey actually tells the rest of the Kuja pirates, yo, raid their shit, man. Take their stuff, plunder their goods and whatnot. And they're actually doing it. And Roger's actually letting them. Now, what's funny is, as she's giving out this order, we see Gloriosa actually pining for Roger's attention in his face. And Roger's like, yo, you got to get out the way. You blocking Shockey. You blocking Shockey, man. You blocking my view. I just think this is hilarious because Roger is literally doing everything he can to try to look at Shockey. And the thing is, Shockey's the vice captain and Gloriosa is the main captain of the crew. But she's outshined by her second in command. That's kind of cool, man. Honestly, you would think that I think that there is some slight jealousy there because she was jealous that Gloriosa was jealous that Shockey got more fan mail than her. But I don't really think that was a wedge driver between them. However, why Gloriosa joined the Rocks Pirates, that may have been something that possibly caused a wedge between them. Who knows? And that I'm saying that also might be the reason why Shockey became the next pirate empress, because Gloriosa went off to join Rocks at a later time, which we will probably see go down in more chapters in the future. Now, Tritoma. If Shaki got promoted to captain after Gloriosa's leave, it's safe to say that Tritoma was appointed to be the next vice captain under Shaki. You know, just falls in line like that. Now, like I said, the only one not fazed by Shaki's beauty was actually Rayleigh, who is just looking all nonchalant, like, yo, these guys are really falling for this like that. They're really falling for these girls like that. That's crazy, man. Serious work, crazy work. Shaki, she actually laments to Rayleigh like, yo, this must be hard for you being around guys like this, especially in your crew. And Rayleigh laments that, yo, I am surrounded by idiots. I'm surrounded by idiots. I got an idiot for a captain. I got idiots for crew. I'm paraphrasing, but Rayleigh just says he's surrounded by idiots. Then we see Shaki actually wink at Rayleigh. And Shaki winks at Rayleigh. And this catches Rayleigh off guard. He's like, hold up. You know, but Rayleigh's just caught off guard by that, man. I love that whole exchange. You're seeing a nervous Rayleigh around that woman, man. So that was clear indication that, you know, Shaki was feeling him. Shaki was feeling your boy. Shaki was feeling your boy Rayleigh. And I got to give Rayleigh props for that, man. It's keeping his composure, because that's what you got to do when you're around beautiful women. Not that I'm not no dating guru. I'm not no player Mac pimp, but all I'm saying is you have to treat all women the same. Show them the same respect, the same courtesy, whether they're physically appealing, not physically appealing, you know, and show that same respect across the board. And Rayleigh just held his composure, you know, and he even to the point where her liking him clearly by that sign, that wink and that smile, it just threw him off guard. Now, as the Kuja pirates are looting Roger and the crew, Roger actually pleads for them to at least save them some food, because, you know, hey, the captain's got to eat. You can take the gold if you want to, fine, take the gold, but the food rations, y'all got to be cool on that one. Y'all got to be cool on that. Then we get the next part of the chapter where the Marines actually show up, man. The Marines, people, and guess what? It's none other than Garp himself. As we learn, which is pointed out by Scopper when he identifies the Marine battleship pulling up as Garp's ship. Then you got Roger saying, hey, okay, we got to hurry up. Y'all got to make this quick. Loot us and get going, because we about to get busy. It's about to go down. This is about to get real. Especially given that Scopper pointed out that it's Garp's ship that's coming. It's not just any Marine ship. It's Garp's ship. And then Roger changes the plans, I guess. He changes the plans of the crew. And he advocates the crew to crush him. And you got Garp on his ship saying the same thing. Crush them. Crush them, man. Crush the ops. Crush them. We got to crush them. Let's crush them. So we see that as the battle starts, right? Kuja pirates are sailing away. Now, we see the battle starts between Roger's crew and the Marines, Garp's squadron or whatever. We don't see Sengoku and Suru on here, which is kind of weird to me. Not even a rookie Aokiji, but I think Aokiji might still be a child during this time, as well as the rest of the big three admirals that we all know and love and adore. But we get Garp, man. Garp coming full-fledged, charging with Roger against him. And we hear that Garp uses a meteor fist. And then Roger, I believe he uses an attack called Aura Mitama. Aura Mitama. It's translated to some type of spirit, as far as the chapter confirmed. Like translated to some type of spirit, I guess, summoning of some type of spirit. But it was basically possibly another named attack from Roger used against Garp, while Garp using another named attack that we now learn from him, a meteor fist. Bro, the panel of them clashing is crazy, because you got Garp's fist clashing Roger without touching it, Kakurasaki. Then you got Roger's slash going through Garp. Clearly, it's hitting him, but you got Roger's sword on the other side. You would think that Roger stabbed him, but he didn't. He just used his sword for a hockey attack as well. So we got both of them just going at it on the ship. It's just crazy, man. We got both of these guys. You got both of these guys going insane, you know, as we would expect no less from, you know, the two greatest rivals on the seas, along with Zebek as well. Because it's said that, it's actually said, yeah. I got my notes, y'all, bear with me. It's actually said that it's actually said that Roger, Rox, and Garp would actually go on to be like major legends in as far as like talks of the Great Pirate Era. You know, those three were the big three. Like those are the big hefes of the sea, given all their background, who they are, what they set out to accomplish, and everything they did in seeking out to accomplish whatever the goals were. Garp, his goal was strictly to just, I guess, capture Roger. His goal was strictly chasing Roger. And him chasing Roger, he built his notoriety off that. But also, before even his association with chasing Roger, Garp's reputation came from being the hero of the Marines. As we know, he's the future hero of the Marines. Roger, the future pirate king. Zebek, the man who attempted to rule the world and the most formidable foe of Roger's on the sea. And the thing is, with the Kuja pirates sailing away, that one of them actually made a remark that of course it was Garp's ship that encountered both of us. And some of the Marines on Garp's ship actually were trying to take pictures of the Kuja pirates and the Roger pirates together because they wanted to make some quick cash over there. And that, I gotta admit, man, that probably would have been a come up. If you get a picture of Roger's crew and the Kuja pirates together, that probably could have been a great come up. Who knows, man? How many berries you could probably get off of that? Because we learned in the chapter that the wanted posters for the Kuja pirates, people were actually paying big money for that. They were paying some good money for that. And the thing is, it said in the chapter that the blood of Roger and Garp, and maybe even Zebek as well, burned by the passion of their youth. What's crazy is what's crazy in that statement, it's got me thinking that it says their blood burned by the passion of their youth. It didn't mention anything else about Zebek, but we could assume the same thing, right? And this is why it got me thinking, excuse me, y'all. What if Zebek is actually older than both Garp and Roger? I don't really think that makes a difference, but, well, slightly it does, but what if Zebek is actually older than both of them, you know? Because I got a feeling that he is. I got a feeling that Zebek may be actually older than both of them. I just want to share that, you know. I'm reading from my notes, guys. I took a lot of notes on the chapter, so, you know, bear with me. Now, on the Kuja ship, on the Kuja ship, Gloriosa is passing out because she's literally infatuated by Roger and Garp, especially them fighting. She calls them both dreaming. And the crew members are actually like trying to wake Gloriosa up. And you got Shaki standing competent and steadfast, because I guess she's not infatuated by either of them, because she got eyes on Rayleigh, your boy Mr. Silver Dollars himself, Rayleigh's. Like I said before, people saw the Kuja pirates as idols. They saw them as idols, and they were revered by their beauty to the point where their wanted posters sold for money. Not them just being wanted themselves, but their wanted posters sold for high amounts of money. Man, if I was a poster collector, I'd be collecting some Kuja pirate posters, man. Because I assume people were using their posters as like Playboy spreads and whatnot in the One Piece world, hanging up on walls and bars like, yeah, hey, you know she stopped in here one day. That's shocking. Yeah, she stopped in my bar. She drank one day. You could be lying, but if you got a poster of one of the Kuja pirates in your bar, you gonna get some customers, man. You gonna sell some drinks, you know. Now we learned that Shaki would later become the crowned Empress of Amazon Lily, and we also know that Tritoma becomes a future princess, a future empress of Amazon Lily. I still think it's Luffy's mom. I'm just saying, I still think it's Luffy's mom. It possibly could be. Now we get to Elbath and we're at Ida's Tavern. Apparently some local sailors or whatever in Elbath actually helped Loki out because he was attempting to set sail, because we learned that Loki actually wants to be free. He wants to set sail like Zebek and explore the world. But Loki doesn't know anything about sailing, clearly, because his ship actually capsized and he was saved by some local fishermen and sailors who actually second-guessed saving him because it's Loki. They were like, man, and the thing is, what's crazy is you could see why they would second-guess saving Loki, considering Loki's demeanor and temperament and attitude towards the country and the people in it. But that's all a defense mechanism and a cry for love because of how he was treated as a younger child, growing up under the mother he had who didn't want him, and then the father Harold always gone and not having time for him because Harold is actually trying to better the country and he has to have ties to the outside world, and that takes a toll of responsibility on Harold because he can't be around his family the way he wants to. But we get Harold in this chapter actually around for a good amount. Now, Ida scolds this fisherman or whatever who actually second guessed saving Loki, and Ida actually threatened to drown him. Like Harold was apologizing on Ida's behalf, but Ida was like, no, if you're gonna second guess whether you should help a kid, then I ought to drown you myself 100 times over. Ida does not play. See, and I love this about Ida because it shows that despite the mom that Loki had and who he was birthed by, Ida somewhat looks at Loki as like a son of her own due to Loki being Harold's son. So it's like, aside from Ida having her own son by Loki, Ida as a mother, she views Loki as Harold's brother. She doesn't have to verbally say it, but we see this through the actions and concern of her. She looks at Loki as damn near her own child in a way. And she doesn't even have to say that. We can obviously see that. It's the empathy there. And Ida goes on to empathize with Loki, saying how lonely he must feel given that his mom passed away and then Harold is barely around to spend time with him. So it must clearly get lonely for Loki, but Loki compensates his loneliness for destruction and taking it out on people. Loki also reiterates that, I didn't ask for y'all to save me. I didn't ask for y'all to save me at all. Because, we learned a couple chapters ago that Loki was kind of angry that he couldn't even die. Because I think Loki did want to die out of the feeling of not being loved. What's the point what's the reason to live if I'm not loved or accepted by anybody? Oh, well, I may as well be some savage brute and be stronger than everybody else. Everybody else is weak. And, you get Loki snapping at Ida because he says, your motherly sucking up ain't working on me. I'm paraphrasing. You're just trying to kiss up to me so you can move into our castle. You're a gold digger. This boy accuses this woman of being a gold digger, bro. Your mom Estrid was the gold digger, dude, and she ain't even want you. That's what's crazy about it. Like, little does Loki know, Estrid was the gold digger, man, and hopefully he learns the true personality and I guess character of his mom, because I don't believe Harold knew as well. Harold never knew either. I mean, Estrid died before it could be revealed what a low down trick she was, because she was the gold digger. And as Loki snaps at Ida, you can see that this doesn't faze Ida, because as a mom, I bet Ida can see through Loki's passive aggressive act and his meanness, because it's clearly a cry for help. This kid is unloved. His father is barely around because he has the responsibility of running the country itself. And then you got a mom who didn't even want him. A mom who just threw him in the realm of the dead. A mom who threw this kid away. And then her family, her brother who became his steward, dogging him out, treating him like trash, blaming Loki for the death of Estrid, man. So Loki was just literally an unloved child. He was loved by Harold, but Harold wasn't around to always show that Loki is loved. So Loki just didn't feel it. And initially, your mother is the first love that you'll ever feel when you come into this war. Your mother is literally the first love that you ever get. And the lack of experience in that regard left Loki feeling empty. I mean, inside, he replaced what was not inside of him or not given to him for the inside with disdain, hatred, and how can I say, self-arrogance and pompousness. But it's all a defense mechanism because Loki was never loved. Now, you get Harold actually trying to attack Loki for what he said to his mom. You got Harold forcing Loki to apologize. And then Loki regards everyone in the country as weak. Everyone in the country is weak, as well as everyone in Ida's tavern as weak. And he hates the country. And he also wants to be free like Zevik. Loki was actually setting sail because he wants to be free like Rox. However, his ship capsized, but Loki didn't care about dying because he wanted to die anyway. If he died, he died. Now, we later go on to learn that actually Rox would come back to Elbaf numerous times trying to recruit Harold. And every time he would come and try to recruit Harold, you get Loki actually trying to join the Rox crew each and every time. And he was always refused, always rejected, because Rox didn't have time to look after some kid while he on his quest for world domination. He didn't need that kind of responsibility slowing him down, regardless of you being Harold's son. So we learned that several months after Beehive gets taken over by Rox and company, the actual skull of the Beehive Island, the skull itself, it was actually in the shape of a fish. It was like a boulder of a amateur drawn fish. You know, it was literally like it was the amateur. It was like a basic fish design where the skull is. Because as we see the skull, you know, we would think that it's like a Rocky version of a bandana tied around it, but it's actually a fishtail. Because before because we get in this panel that Rox knocks some holes into the skull to make the skull that we see today. It was actually a boulder of a fish-shaped entity, you know, before it was a skull. That's actually kind of cool. I really think that's actually pretty cool, man. So we see that there's somebody a mysterious figure actually looking for Rox on the crew, on the island. And some of the local fodder, you know, said the local bilge rats of the Rox pirates were explaining to this newcomer that, yo, you realize the Rox pirates, we're known as the all-stars of evil on the ocean. I mean, if you want to go see Rox, you can go right ahead, but like just know that the deeper you travel into Beehive, the crazier the pirates get, which is wild when you really think about it. Because it's like when you first land ashore, you got the base level fodder pirates. Then it just gets more severe until you get to the lieutenant level types. You know what I'm saying? And then you get to the top actual members. Because at the end of the panel, when we see the whole Rox crew, I count 12, including Rox herself, 12 heavy hitters. 12 heavy hitters. So I think counting Rox, that makes 13, I guess, because you got Wang Zi, you got Don Marlin, you got Caribou, you got Stussy, you got Streusen, you got the barbell guy, you got Shiki, you got Captain John, Kyo, who we learned is Silver Axe, you got Newgate. I know I'm missing just a few. I'm missing only a few. Who else? Oh, Kaido. That's right, you got Kaido. And then you got Rox himself. Yeah. Bunch of heavy hitters, man. Bunch of heavy hitters. So anyway, as this mysterious figure is about to go meet with Rox, one of these fodders thought it was a good idea to kick this guy. Now, this guy reaches out, crushes the skull, I guess, in his hand, the guy who kicked him, because it's revealed to be Silver Axe. Silver Axe. And the thing is, before he's known as Silver Axe, he's known as Kyo the Hitman. He's an assassin. This guy's an assassin and the rival of Shiki. And this is so genius because how did we not pick this up? Shiki the Gold Lion, Silver Axe Hand Morgan. No, I don't know why I said Axe Hand Morgan. But like the Silver Axe guy of the Rox Pirates, man. So Silver Axe, Gold Lion, silver, gold. Then when we look at Roger's crew and that type of dialect, that type of correlation right there. Gold Roger, Silver Israeli, Scopper Gabon. Take the S off, Copper Gabon. You know what I'm saying? Scopper, silver, gold. All three factions of mineral material right there. Then you got this Gold Lion Shiki and Silver Axe. They're both rivals, so that's a dope dynamic to be rival hitman. And my thing is, I got Kyo to possibly be stronger. I really do. I'm gonna just go on the limb and say Kyo might be possibly stronger than Shiki, but they're regarded as rivals. So if they're looked at, if they're looked at as equals, are depicted as such in the story, I wouldn't be mad at that, but I'm still gonna put my hat in the ring and say Kyo actually might be stronger than Shiki. Who knows? I love this chapter, man. I love this chapter. It's the this whole flashback montage is a gift. Like, we are finally gonna see God Valley. We're on our way to it. We're literally on our way to God Valley through these flashbacks. It's all happening and it's all coming. Thank you, Oda, man. Thank you. So, like I said, man, Zebek actually blasts holes into the skull of the what would be the base layer, the base hangout of the Rocks Pirate for like the ultimate members, man. So when you travel to the center of the island and you go to that skull, that's where Rocks and all the heavy hitter members actually hang out. And Rocks even says it like, yo, it was a good idea to blast holes in this thing, man. Look at the view we got of this place, man. It's beautiful. It's lovely. Now we get a discussion amongst the pirates, the top pirates. We get a discussion amongst them where Rocks is lamenting on the fact that they need 2 devil fruits. They need 2 devil fruits in order to help his plan in world domination. And one of them is in Elbath. Now, as far as the other one goes, he doesn't really specify that one, but he specifies that one of them is in Elbath. And the true power of this devil fruit would only work if Harold eats it. And this makes so much sense as to why Rocks wants Harold on the crew. It ain't just because Harold is a giant. It's because not only is Harold the king, because that plays a role as well when I try to get into when I talk about the shipwrights of Galera, but also because if Harold eats the devil fruit that Rocks is talking about, it'll be an utmost advantage for Rocks. That one of his many utmost advantages, aside from the second devil fruit that he lamented on, then the shipwrights of Galera, which we later meet Charlotte Linlin and Captain John, Pirate Captain John. They're both talking about the shipwrights of Galila, whereas John is saying that, hey, it's been said that they're frozen, you know what I'm saying? And if we need them, we actually, ain't no telling where they are, but they're actually frozen and they possibly might be dead. Then we get Charlotte Linlin, Big Mom, future Big Mom, talking about she has all her resources and all her people in the streets and in the seas, searching high and low, sending her in her contacts, sending her intel and info regarding the giant shipwrights of Galera. However, she hasn't heard anything about them being frozen or anything like that. There's no whereabouts of it as far as they know. But clearly, some of her contacts may have either gotten hurt or killed in their pursuit of finding out. And if so, only some of them have heard something and haven't been able to report it back yet to Charlotte, but she has her people in them streets actually looking for that info. Now, we also see Streusen, you know what I'm saying? We also see a young Streusen there we also see a young Streusen there saying that like, yo, y'all might as well give up on that. If you think the giant shipwrights are out there existing, da-da-da-da-da, who knows, you know? And then Charlotte tells Streusen to shut up. Don't be a downer on people's dreams. You don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know. Just shut up, Streusen. So we later also meet Barbell, a catfish fishman, man. Hey, I ain't gonna lie, Barbell looks crazy tough, man. I bet, bro, Barbell looks insane. But like, for him to be a catfish fishman and chilling with the higher ups of the Rocks Pirate, you know he's not there for no reason. Barbell has to be insane on the seas, in the seas, as a fisherman. I'm curious to see his fishman karate, because I'm pretty sure he has it. I'm just very curious to see Barbell fight. He's a Rocks Pirate member I have to see fight. I mean, we're going to see all of them fight eventually during the God Valley incident, but Barbell, I gotta see what he can do, man. One thing I love is the fishman karate and fishman techniques and fighting styles of the fishmen in general. I love it, man, every part of it. I'm also thinking this, something also tells me something. I'm also thinking, is Barbell somehow connected to Fisher Tiger? Is there any connection at all between Barbell and Fisher Tiger? Like, could they have been friends? Could they have been related? Because who knows, man? I could go with either or. I don't care, but I would love to see some type of connection between Barbell and Fisher Tiger. Because y'all remember Fisher Tiger, right? Fisher Tiger, you know, he freed the slaves and set off on his own pirate crew, started the Sun Pirates. Man, I would love to see a Fisher Tiger and Barbell interaction, or some type of information dropped on them. So, and Barbell actually releases some information about the Galley Ross shipwrights. So that if they're found, he says that even if they do find them, right? Even if they are found, right, the shipwrights of Galley Ross, and they're brought back to life somehow, they have no reason to follow the Rock's crew. They have no reason or obligation to listen to any of them. And why would they? Like, they're giants. They can do what they want. But at the same time, if you bring them back, why would they do that? So Kaido, we get a rookie Kaido who then opens up his mouth to say that that's why they need Harold, because they would only listen and follow the Rock's crew if Harold was able to convince them, because Harold, being the royal king that he is, him being the king, his word carries more weight than just some random pirates who may or may not find the shipwrights of Galley Ross. Because if they do find them, the shipwrights have no obligation to them whatsoever. But given Harold's word, if Rock's recruited Harold, given Harold's word, that can turn the tides for them to take the Holy Land and defeat the Holy Land and just gain closer to Rock's goal in general. Now, Kaido says that they can't just bulldoze them and use their strength to force those giant shipwrights to bend to their will. However, they could do the same thing to Harold. Then you get Rock's just snapping. He kicks Kaido, kicks Kaido in his face like, yo, what did you just say, you stupid brat? What'd you just say about my homie Harold? Nah, man, shut up. So we get Rox and Kaido, and then we get Kaido actually squaring up. Kaido actually bucked back at Rox. Kaido was about to try to take Rox on. He would have lost. Kaido would have got smoked. Kaido would have got his butt whooped. Not without a good fight, a good effort, of course, but I mean, come on, man. Everybody here, I can assume that almost everyone here, as far as like the top of the Rock's Pirates crew, almost all of them has Conqueror's Haki in a way. We can just safely assume that, because we know Kaido has it, we know Big Mom has it, we know Whitebeard even has it, and yeah, we know Whitebeard has it, we know Shiki possibly has it, Rox himself has it. Stussy doesn't have it, but most of the contenders, that's 5 people, excluding Stussy, most of the contenders of the top Rock's Pirates, they have Conqueror's Haki. So Zebek and Kaido fighting, that would have been a great fight, but it would be like, I guess, mid difficulty, like it'd be light mid difficulty for Zebek to beat Kaido, because I think that Zebek would actually wipe the floor with him. Zebek would wipe the literal floor with Kaido, bro. It's like, you know. So Rox, he kicks Kaido because he mentions Harm and Harold, and Rox is not cool with that. We come to find out that Rox actually respects Harold so much that he calls him a pal. He says that Harold is actually a good pal to him. And he says, you ever do that again, bro, I'm just gonna, like, you know, don't... Yeah, Rox just basically threatens Kaido to, like, really do him in, man. Like, I'll take you out. Paraphrasing, I'll take you out. Don't ever say that crap again about Harold, bro. That's my pal. That's a good pal of mine. The fact that Rox views Harold as a friend, because a pal is basically a friend. The fact that Rox views him as a friend, that's something, I love that. I absolutely love that. So it's not just that Rox is actually trying to recruit him for his own selfish gain. He is, but he actually views Harold as a friend. That's what's crazy about it. You know, I don't think he views everybody else in that same way, because during their clash, somebody happens to be the voice of reason. It might be Wang Zi, saying that a group like theirs was bound to implode at one point, but they shouldn't be fighting amongst each other right now. It's not even the time for that. And Shiki even agrees. He chimes in like, yeah, hey, actually, you know, as much as I would love to see the fallout of us going at each other, because we don't like each other, but we need to get what we all want for right now. So we need to stick together for right now. And we need to just chill. And then Shiki, in agreement, he later calls He then in that moment calls Kaido a horn-headed rookie, saying like, yo, we need to stick together for right now. We got to help each other, get what each other wants, use each other for right now. And that involves us sticking together. Now, it would be a great fight between Rox and Kaido. And then, but other than that, Rox views Harold as a friend. Rox views Harold as a friend. And I think that if Harold would have joined, Rox would have probably viewed Harold as the only friend amongst the crew. Because you don't see Rox viewing everybody else as their pal, but he specifically called Harold his pal. That's friend talk right there, man. But yeah, he threatened to crush Kaido if he ever spoke up again about like anything as far as like harming Harold. So Rox. W's all around, but like Rox for calling Harold a friend, that's a dub for me in that book. Now, Rox also reveals to us that Elbaf is actually the key to taking down the Holy Land. Elbaf is the key to taking down the Holy Land. This is such, oh my goodness, I love this line, man, because now that we're in Elbaf, we finally get to see, it gives us more lore into why Emu wants to take over Elbaf, because we saw back when Emu was taking over Gunko's body, and Emu was taking over everything in Elbaf, commanding the giants, making them turn into Onis and demons and whatnot. Whoever runs Elbaf or allies with Elbaf will change the tides in the upcoming War of the World, the final